Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to get into another EDC video. I recently watched a video by Marine X and Best Damn EDC in which they were talking about if you could only have three things that you would carry daily, or like three essentials, I guess you could say, three EDCs that you would have on you, that was the most essential. What would those things be? So it made me want to kind of do a video on that topic. But so on one channel, the person did things that are, I would say, secondary. They didn't include or put into the realm of things that are required of them, that you kind of need to carry on you. For example, you need to have your house keys. That he didn't use that to take up a slot because obviously that just wouldn't make sense, or even your car keys or certain things of that sort. This person didn't even include their phone. On another person's video, they had chose to include everything, more of like a survival aspect, and say it like, well, I can go outside without my phone, so I'm not going to include that. And there are three things were very more tight knit in terms of a survival aspect, I want to say. Still in modern, everyday, go outside type of thing, but if I had to go outside and the thing I have to carry with me, maybe I'm walking from here to the bank or I'm walking from here to the store, what am I going to carry on me? I don't need my cell phone. And the person did like that. So I'm going to go somewhere in that realm of excluding things that are required. So I'm not going to include things like my keys, keep them in a key pouch like this. You guys can look back at a video I did about that. I'm not going to include things like my car keys. I'm also not going to include the cell phone because I just feel like some of these things are just things that are required if you are doing certain things. I'm not going to include my wallet as well. These are required. So I'm going to refer to things that are optional in terms of things that you would carry on you. Three things that you would carry on you that are a must have, that you feel are a must have for you. And in my case, for me. Now, going through those things, I'm going to jump right into it. The first thing for me is always a watch. Now, this right here would be specifically the watch that if I had to carry one would be this one, because this is my favorite watch. This is a Rolex Datejust. It's always been my favorite watch because one, the times that I grew up in, it was a staple. It was a symbol, especially in pop culture at that time when I was younger growing up. But then also too, my father had one, and to me, it became a symbol of, just hard work putting in and getting to that point. But fun fact note, Rolex is not my favorite watch company. I'm actually really into watches. Rolex is not my favorite company. This is my favorite watch specifically, but that's the only watch there is. If I had to say what's my favorite company, give me a Seiko anytime, any day of the week. Seiko is my favorite watch company. But yeah, so I always have to have a watch on me. At least as far as the category goes, it's always got to be a watch. Always have to have a watch on me when I leave the house. Next, I would say is a pen. Now, this Jotter will probably be my overall favorite. There are some pens I have that are also from Parker that I like really well, that are thicker and more pleasant. Well, maybe I guess you could say more pleasant to write with. But sorry, let me hold this down because I don't want the focusing to get all crazy. More pleasant to write with, but at the same time, I really do like writing with this one. But the main thing is that it's a little more easier to hold in your pocket. Now, this one is nice, and I throw this in here. Probably my preferred one would be the all metal one, which essentially is almost the same thing because certain parts of that is metal, certain parts of it is not. But yes, that would be probably the preferred pen. But on a regular everyday basis, I usually just throw this in my pocket simply because I get worried that in my pocket without the pen protector that you just saw me have it in the sleeve, I feel like it might put a hole in my pocket over time because the tip is very pointy, and even without the pen out, the tip is pretty pointy and it's metal. So I know this won't do that with that blunt top. So a lot of times I just throw this in my pocket all the time. But a pen is definitely one of the things that is a must carry for me. So right now we're at a pen, we're at a watch. Those are the must carries for me. And last, this is actually new for me, and that is a knife. I've recently started carrying a knife on me, and I don't use it as a utility. I really use it more as for potential protection. And to be honest, this thought process really only kind of, how should I say, became an easy transition because of this knife and this knife in here. These two knives, after I kind of started getting into knives, they're so small that I actually, and I've done a review on both of these on the channel. I've also done a comparison between the two. These are very small knives. They have a couple different small knives out there. These two are my smallest knives and I really like them. Now I have bigger knives and those aren't comfortable to carry at all because these fit in the 5th pocket. You know, that small pocket on your right-hand side that I think normally is for coins or whatever. These can go inside those pockets, and depending on my pants or shorts or whatever I'm wearing, sometimes the 5th pocket is always going to vary. Sometimes they'll go completely in where you can't even see them at all. I don't use the clip on them, the pants clip, belt clip, or whatever you want to call it. I don't use that because I like for the knife to be completely submerged into my pocket. And even though these are what's known as a deep carry, to where this will be at the top and it makes it easier to grab, but most of the knife will be hidden, I usually will just try to, if the knife can go as deep as it can, I drop it in there. Also, not that it's an issue of using the pocket clip, but I don't like the idea of like this messing up my jeans as you put it in and out inside your pocket every day, switching up pants, putting it in and out. It's gonna, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's gonna start to mess up my jeans. And so some people might say, you know, they wear the rugged jeans, they don't care, it's got holes in them, whatever. I don't want that happening to my jeans, so I'm perfectly fine with just fitting this straight inside the 5th pocket. With that being said, and that little rant, these two knives are my favorite for that because they're so small. I think the handle, this whole piece itself, like the handle, the blade wrapped into the handle, is somewhere around 3, maybe and a half inches, something like that. It's pretty small. I compared the differences between the two. I prefer the aesthetics of the mini Praxis, the CIVIVI mini Praxis. I prefer that it is a little bit slimmer, so it fits inside the pocket a little better. And I like that. For the most part, I don't notice the difference that much. There's a small difference in the profile of this one, obviously, that you could see here in terms of the handle parts here, and then the blade area, it's a little bit slimmer. But when it comes to just fidgeting with it, I always said before in the review, I love the fact that this one's liner lock is just so much easier to press. And this one is a bit annoying to press because it's not as smooth. It doesn't come out as much. It doesn't protrude as much. So that is a bit of annoyance, but I can go either way with them. So yes, but I prefer the aesthetics of this. And obviously once a knife's out for whatever you have to use it for, then it's out. And deploying it is no problems. It's just the retracting part that's a little bit annoying. It's not hard, but it's a little bit annoying. This one's a little bit more pocketable. So I guess in general, I prefer this one a little bit, but they're really, I alternate all the time. So that is my last EDC item. Now that actually I would have preferred to be replaced with this. And I purchased this way before I got that, and I wanted to, but the thing about it when it comes to this and the knife is that when it's folded up, they're about the same length. But for some reason, I don't know why, this feels better in the pocket. Now I'm looking at it now, it's not thicker. I don't know why, but it, like when I have this in my 5th pocket, I feel like sometimes it wants to, when I sit down, it wants to ride into my side or even into my belt. And I feel like this doesn't happen with the knife, and I don't know why. And looking at them now, I thought that this was longer, or maybe even that was thicker, but I definitely thought it was longer. But when I actually look at it, and you can't see from the angle that I'm looking at it from the side, have them side by side, and it's really not, it's higher up by that little amount. It's really not a difference, but I don't know why this doesn't feel as good in the pocket. But the truth is I would prefer something like this because, let me see if does it feel like it's thinner? Is it thinner? They really do. With the pocket clip, it seems not even noticeable. I don't know why. I carried this on me today. The reason why I would say that is obviously you can't flip it out as fast as a knife. So for protection, the knife is better in that specific guard. But at the same time, but at the same time, this right here just has multiple uses. You have the knife if you need it. So if you needed it for the purpose of protection, you have that. And at the end of the day, a knife is gonna do what it does regardless if it came to protection. This or this are gonna essentially do the same thing. You have a better grip on the dedicated knife, but they're essentially gonna do the same job when the blades are essentially the same length. For the most part, are about the same length. They're doing the same job in general. You get what I'm trying to say here. I'm not trying to nitpick over the differences of someone being like, well, that knife is better, blah, blah. You get the point. But you get a screwdriver, which is awesome. And I really like the screwdriver. Some people knock it, and I get it because the full-size version or full-size tool of the Armbar drive, it doesn't have as much of a retention as the slim version has a stronger retention. That it locks in, because it doesn't have a lock, but that kind of little indent retention. But I just like this. Nice, magnetic, just very long. So it's not like one of those, screwdrivers or multi-tools where it's like it starts right here and you barely can get it into a tight area. This you don't have a problem with. You obviously have the knife. And then you have the bottle opener, which some people would say, who needs a bottle opener these days? I've had times, literally, it's funny. I can go to a store somewhere, and there are times where I've actually bought, like one time I went to it was this cheesesteak kind of, I wouldn't call it a restaurant, but it's like one of those kind of little, like tiny stores inside where all they did was sold cheesesteaks. Small, maybe the size of like a tiny, what's the word I'm looking for? Takeout Starbucks type of size. And they gave me a drink, and they will open the drink for you if you want. It was a soda, but I didn't want it at that time because I like to always drink my drink after I finish eating. And I wanted to finish eating and drink the drink along the walk because I was going to go somewhere. And I wasn't going to be able to open it after the fact. So then I just decided, after I eat, I'm not going to walk with it, because after I finish eating, I was about to leave and walk with the drink, but I'm like, why start walking and I can't open it? I'm going to have to just have them open it and then now start walking with it, which, like I said, I wanted I know it may seem like a little thing, but I wanted the freedom to be able to start walking, because I had a couple blocks I was going to be walking, and start drinking at my leisure, not when it was required to open it, because once you open it, you can't close it. So that's the reason why, unlike a screw top, where I didn't want to open it at that moment, because I won't have the option to close it. And I didn't want to walk with an open bottle. So that became a thing where this would have been great, because I could have kept my walking, got closer to the place I was going to be going to, and then popped it open when I wanted to. And so to me, it's just the fact that there's ever a moment in which you might need this doesn't take up any additional space to have that on there. And that's what I love about this. So I would love to get comfortable replacing this with that, and maybe I'll try to start wearing it more often. I just feel some reason, I don't know why, that this feels better in the pocket. Maybe it's because it's wider, that it's more stable, and that might be it. That might be the reason why, as I'm thinking about it, because it's not flatter than it. It's not necessarily difference in height, but it might be the width that this causes it not to bounce around in the pocket as much. And if this is bouncing around, wiggling in the pocket a little bit more, because the pocket is probably like that wide, then essentially what you have is this might go into a placement that's not as comfortable or hitting you, where this is a little more, takes up most of the space of the pocket, so it doesn't move, so it won't move out of place. So that's probably that probably is what it is. So that is my main 3 things that are a must carry for me. It's a pen, it's a watch, and now it has become a knife for potential protection, which, like I said, I want to transition to this. Still same category, knife is your main purpose behind it, but this little multi-tool, I'm going to try to start making that my normal of my 3 things. But that is that, you guys. If you guys post down in the comments if you'd like things that you carry on you. You don't have to include the things that are necessity, because like I said, at the end of the day, we're all going to carry our house keys. We're all going to carry our car keys on us Generally speaking, you're going to carry certain things. Your phone at this point in time, everyone has a phone on them every day. Now, yes, you could be sitting in your yard. You can go for a little walk without your phone if you wanted. But nonetheless, on a regular everyday basis, everyone has the phone. So I'm not going to count that. And I don't want you to use that for a space. But post down below, what is your necessity everyday carries? 3 things, your top 3 things that you carry all the time. As always, you guys, be safe, take care. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.